Hello, thank you so much for waiting and welcome to another webinar brought to you by us here at PLM Central. My name's Molly and I'm the Digital Transformation Consultant here. And today I'd just like to say a massive warm welcome and thank you for joining. We're going to be talking you through the real-time simulation in Creo 7. Okay, so as you can see, coming up on the agenda, we're going to start at the very top, talk you through the evolution of Creo and how it got to be the product that it is today. We're also going to discuss some of the common challenges that businesses are facing, especially in the current climate, and how this software can actually help overcome some of those. Finally, we're also going to do a simulation example and live demonstration of that. If by the end you'd like some more details and like to find out how this software can be applied specifically to your business, our contact details will be provided for you. So yeah, feel free to get in touch and we'll arrange that. Okay, so I'm not going to be speaking today. It's actually going to be our Creo expert and applications engineer, Muhsin.a. So yeah, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much for that introduction, Molly. First of all, good morning to everyone, and I'm glad you guys can make time to join us today. I hope this webinar is very informative for you and you can see the real benefits that come from Creo Simulation Live. And if you're unsure of how it can apply to your business, that's what we are here for, and we would be more than willing to have a conversation with you to find out what we can do for you. So without further ado, let's begin. So the first thing we want to speak about is the evolution of Creo Parametric. A lot of people may not know that Creo Parametric was not originally Creo Parametric. In 1988, when it was one of the first CAD tools made, it was labeled as Pro Engineer. Only at a later date, when it acquired Co-Create, that did Pro Engineer rebrand to Creo Parametric in 2010. And now we've gone from strength to strength, developing various tools for manufacturing, such as additive manufacturing, sheet metal, machining, all types of add-ons that we have created to benefit actual businesses in manufacturing, to where it brings us now, where we have true simulation-driven design with Creo Simulation Live. So what we've highlighted is what companies are looking to achieve. We have found that companies really want to have a deeper understanding of their product. They want shorter development cycles and they want a quicker time to market. We know design cycle times can be long, so we look to reduce those as much as we can. And people want fewer prototypes and getting things first time right. So what we have is we have developed Creo Simulation Live, which looks to try and solve all these issues. And before saying that it does, we want to show you how and why. So right now, simulation isn't anything new in the engineering field. Simulation has been around for a long while now. However, there are challenges with it. So we first go through the traditional simulation method where we start off with a concept, we get it designed with our design engineer, and then comes the gap between design and simulation, where our design engineer has to hand over to what we call a simulation engineer or an expert on simulation. This handover involves quite a few things. It involves converting files, whether it's a step file or a STL file. Somehow you have to convert the file and hand it over, and that takes time. And then what comes up next is that the simulation engineer, the first thing they do is they look to simplify the model. So whether due to meshing, they look to simplify the model, and what happens there is you lose out real data. You don't get the true visualization of what is happening to your product, but you do get a very good indicator. And then the simulation engineer feeds it back to the design engineer, and then the design engineer looks at the analysis, makes a few tweaks where they think is necessary, and then hands it back over to verify. And this process is iterative and it goes on and on and on. And you find a lot of time is taken before we eventually get to the prototype, start testing, and then manufacture. Sometimes we have to go back from the prototype when testing shows results that we are unhappy with, but it is a very iterative process and takes a lot of time. So with Simulation Live, there is no need for meshing. The actual model is used. There's no conversion needed, as what we will go through is PTC, who create Creo, have partnered with Ansys. And for those who do not know who Ansys are the default standard in industry for simulation. And PTC are one of the best in design. And what we have done, we've integrated a tool that is in your design phase with the simulation capabilities that is done instantly right in front of you to help you with simulation driven design. So the highlighting the partnership with Ansys is to give you confidence to know that what is actually being simulated is a proper simulation tool and not something made in-house. So with true simulation-driven design, what we have achieved with Creo Simulation Live is simulation happening simultaneously with you while you design. So what this means is, as I design, I do a tweak, I can instantly get results of the simulation happening. And if I do an adjustment to a profile rib to see the effects of it, the simulation will restart and it will be done instantly to give you a very good indication of how your product will perform. And this can be done as many times as you want as you design. You can turn it off if you know you are making bulk changes. So it's not something that is constantly running and taking your power, and it uses the GPU, which is a very good thing for computers. So this, with simulation, we have the challenge of speed against fidelity. So we do know that there are people that require high fidelity, and we have a different add-on for that. That is the Creo Simulation add-on. So this will take more time than Creo Simulation Live, but it will give you much more accurate results, whereas Simulation Live is used to give you guidance, and it's a very good indicator to how your product will perform before you get onto the prototype stage and test. So right now we have a short video that I'll be speaking over of Creo Simulation Live in action, and I will give you guys examples of what is happening in this model. So what we have here is we have a plastic wheel. This is a wheel for a remote controlled car. And what we have found that this part tends to break often. And we are trying to design it better and see if we can produce better results. So we are looking to see what we can do to redesign it, and we are in the design environment, as you can see from the tabs at the top. So whilst we are in the design environment, we are going to go over to the live simulation tab where we can set up our simulation problem. So you can see from the interface, it's very straightforward. It's very easy to understand. And if you know your simulation, or if you don't know your simulation, you can get to grips with this very quickly. So what we are trying to do here is get a basic understanding of how our product performs. So we're doing a modal analysis. We've fixed the wheel hub at the points where it will be fixed in reality. And we are just looking at what sort of deformation occurs. We can play an animation to see what sort of bending occurred, to see whether it is what we want. So this is just a nice way to get in. So it's just a modal analysis. So you can see how interactive it is. You can turn it around, look at all the different points, and you can look at the frequency at different parts which are marked on the product itself. So now if we change the material, we assign nylon, you can see that the simulation has kick-started and it's restarted simulating, and we've already got our results. So we can now see what the effect of the change in material has done. So now we are trying to do a different simulation type. So instead of a modal one, we are trying to look at a real world problem and do a structural simulation. So we are doing our constraints. We've applied the fixed constraints to the wheel hubs, and we are adding a moment to the wheel to mimic what it's like to being hit by a curb. And now we start running the simulation. You can see it's happening straight away. The solution is coming up straight away in front of us, and we can really highlight a high stress area. And this verifies with what we were seeing in real life, where the wheel was braking at that point. So let us try now and redefine or redesign this wheel to see if we can try and lower that maximum stress. So you can see it's about 88 right now. So we want to try and bring it down as much as we can. So we want to bring it to about 50. So anything now that is above the red, we know that that is not good. So we now have set our red as 50. So we want to try and get our product to show no red. So let us see what it's like when we try and redesign it. So we don't have to go into a different application. We can go straight into the model and just redefine it here. So let us edit the dimension of the ribs. So making it a bit narrower to see what the effects are. And then once we regenerate, you can see the simulation instantly kicks in and it's giving us the results. And we can already see that this is not ideal for what we want. We see more red than we did before. And which is what we would expect with it being more narrow. So we can see that, okay, that wasn't the right move. Let us try something different. So let us edit another part of the geometry. So now we made our changes and you can see the simulation is kicking in straight away and it's updating us with our results in real time. And we can see that there's less red than there is before. So we are in the right direction. So that was a good indicator for me to know that, okay, that was doing the right thing. So let us try and refine it further. So now we made the ribs wider to give us more stability. Let's see the effect of it in the simulation. Okay, so if we tweak it a bit further, try and get it into our desired results. And you can see the feedback is coming instantly. So that is the key part of this, where you redesign, you get your results in real time instantly. And so now we have got it to be around 40 maximum. We've achieved what our objective is, and then we can go on to start prototyping, and then assuming, so the prototyping, we can go on to testing, and we should be producing fewer prototypes now. The benefit of this is that you can get your creativity shown. You don't have to wait for the simulation engineer to come back to you and let you know that, okay, no, this doesn't work. You can get a nice indication of whether what you have redesigned is a good thing or not. And then we can go on to the prototyping stage. So what does Creo Simulation Live deliver? Speed, ease of use, the fact that you can use your model without having to simplify it. And you saw from the interactive nature of it, of how we can design and get back into the simulation environment and see the results happening in real time. So the confidence you should have in the simulation, be it powered by Ansys, and also you have the ability for fluids. So you can test fluids, but this is only available in our Creo Simulation Live Plus package. The other three, structural, thermal, and modal, are the ones that come in the base Creo Simulation Live package. And if you do require fluids, there is the optional Plus package available. So what do we gain from Creo Simulation Live? You get a deeper understanding of your product. You can see how it performs. So when you do a different design, you can see the actual effects of it and whether it is desired or not. This inevitably leads to shorter development cycles and quicker time to market. So that will be reducing your design cycle time, and you will be producing fewer prototypes and getting it first time right. So the key part of this is that it is integrated well into your design stage, and there is no need for the design engineer, simulation engineer, and back and forth, saving you a lot of time. The design engineer is more than capable of using the simulation software to see what is happening to their design as they redesign it. So that brings us to a close. We wanted to keep this webinar short and brief. We do have more points to hit. We can go on about the capabilities of Creo Simulation Lab within each simulation setup, what can be achieved, but we will save that for a later day. If you do have any questions now, we do have the Q&A function available. We will be leaving it open for 5 minutes or so, so let us know any questions that you do have, and if we can answer them now, we'll try and get them done in this webinar now. So I will hand over back to our DTC, Molly, to close us off.
Thank you so much for that, Muhsin. That was so informative. And like I mentioned before at the start, if you would like to get some more details about how Live Simulate can be applied specifically to your business, do feel free to get in touch. Our contact details are going to be provided for you on the next slide. Yeah, that's it. And yeah, I look forward to hearing from you. So thank you so much for joining us today. Cheers, guys.